Welcome to Yash Classes Online. Today we are going to understand an important topic. What is business transaction in detail? What do you mean by transaction? An event involving some value between two or more entities, parties. There are two types of transaction. Economic transaction. Non-economic transaction. What do you mean by economic transaction? A transaction which can be measured in terms of money is known as an economic transaction. It is compulsory to record all economic transaction in the books of account. Economic transactions includes cash and credit transactions. Now let us understand non-economic transaction. A transaction which cannot be measured in terms of money is known as non-economic transaction. It is not required to record any of the non-economic transaction in the books of account. There is no question like cash or credit transaction for non-economic transaction. Examples of non-economic transactions are as follows. Bank sanction loan of 10 lakh rupees to Mr. Ranveer. Receiving the letter of loan sanction is not an economic transaction, but when the loan amount transfer in your account by bank, then only it is economic transaction. Now let us understand another example. Placed on order for purchasing goods of 10,000 rupees to Mr. A. Placing an order is an economic transaction, but when order is implemented it becomes an economic transaction. Now classification of business transactions. Cash transaction and credit transaction. Cash transaction. When cash is received or paid in exchange of goods, assets or services, then it is known as cash transaction. There is no question of debtor-creditor relationship due to cash transaction. Name of the person is not necessary to be mentioned in a cash transaction. Credit transaction. When cash is to be received or paid in future in exchange of goods, assets or services, then it is known as credit transactions. Due to credit transactions debtor-creditor relationship, it is compulsory to mention name of the party concerned in a credit transaction. Examples of cash transactions of goods are as follow. 1. Sold goods of 8,000 rupees for cash. Cash word is mentioned. 2. Purchased goods of 4,000 rupees. Party's name is not mentioned. Examples of cash transactions for service are as follows. 1. Paid salary 5,000 rupees. Paid word is mentioned. 2. Received 1,000 rupees as commission from Ram. Received word is mentioned, that is why it is cash transaction. Examples of credit transactions of goods are as follows. 1. Purchased goods of 1,000 rupees from Yash on 1 month credit. Party's name is mentioned and cash word is not mentioned, so it is a credit transaction. Let us understand another example. 2. Sold goods of 2,000 rupees to Krisha. Here also, party's name is mentioned and cash word is not mentioned, so it is a credit transaction. Examples of service transactions on credit are as follows. 1. 1,000 rupees is receivable from the Ra of commission. Commission is yet not received, but this it is yet to be received in future, that is a reason this is a credit transaction. 2. 1,700 rupees is outstanding for payment of electricity. Bill is yet not paid, but this it will be paid in future, that is a reason this is a credit transaction. Now let us understand transaction into a deeper aspect, that is dual effect of transactions. What is dual effect? For every economic transaction when two effects, one on debit side and one on credit side, are given or passed, as per accounting norms, it is known as dual effects of a transaction. So for dual effect, first of all, one has to identify at least two accounts form the transactions. Then you have to apply rules of account and make debit and credit entry. Now let us understand how to identify at least two accounts from the transactions. Now let us understand how to identify at least two accounts. From the transactions. One good sold worth 20,000 rupees sold to Jayashree, in which sales account temp, Jayashree account where entries are recorded. Similarly, two 10,000 rupees deposited with Bank of Baroda. Entries of this transaction are recorded in cash account and bank account.